Snowbird season may be over, but the market? It's still moving, just in a different direction. Buyers are showing up, sellers are getting more motivated, and the real opportunities right now is knowing how to read the shift before the headlines do. Speaking of headlines, maybe you saw the recent article claiming Cape Coral and Lee County have more ghost homes than anywhere else in the US. Spooky, right? Except it's not. It's just another round of media fear-mongering, and in this update, I'll give you the real story behind the numbers. Inventory is starting to come down. Sellers who didn't move their homes during season, they're adjusting prices and ready to negotiate. And buyers, from retirees to families relocating, are quietly scooping up homes while everyone else waits on the sidelines. So whether you're thinking about selling and want to get ahead of the summer slowdown, or buying and wondering if now is the time to strike, this update is for you. I'm Berry Cessna, your Cape Coral waterfront realtor. And in just a few minutes, I'll walk you through the numbers, the trends, and how to make the smartest move in today's market. Click the link, call or text to schedule your strategy session, and let's make sure your next step is the right one. Let's dive into the June numbers and break it all down.
Welcome to the Cape Coral Market Update for June 2025. My name is Berry Cessna, your waterfront realtor here in Cape Coral. And we've got a lot of great information to talk about. I can't wait to dive in. We're going to chat about our Canadian friends from the north and how they impacted our season this year as far as buying and selling goes. We're also going to chat about this crazy term that's going around this week called ghost homes and how that's affecting our market, and is it really true, or what's happening there? So we're going to dive a little deeper on that article that was put out by one of our local news networks here. Also, we're going to chat about days on the market, the opportunities that buyers are getting here, and what sellers should be doing moving forward. Let's dive right in. So first up, we're going to look at market indicators. Inventory. Inventory tells us exactly how many homes are on the market currently. This shows us our supply. Next up, we look at median price point. What's the median price point? 50% of the homes are selling above this amount. 50% of the homes are selling below this amount. So this shows us what direction the prices are going. We're going to look back at the last month, and we're going to go back 90 days and an entire year back to see where the prices have come from and where they expect them to go in the future. We're also going to look at days on the market. Now, this has been pretty lengthy lately, so we're going to jump into that. Not a lot of change, but it's not really going down either. Closed sales. This is our demand. How many people here actually buying houses? Now, this number might surprise you. It seemed like we really got off to a slow start for our season here, our snowbird season, but then once we got into the middle of it, we really started to ramp up. So did we actually beat out last year, or did we stay about the same, or did we hit the mark? Let's go ahead and jump into the inventory. So first up is active inventory. This is how many homes are currently available on the market here in the city of Cape Coral. Now, this market report is all about single family homes. So these numbers are for single family homes here in the city of Cape Coral. Currently, for the May 2025, we finished at 3,126 homes available for sale. February 2025 is where we topped out at 3,515 homes for sale here in the city of Cape Coral. And then if we go back 1 year, it was 2,822 homes available. As you can see our chart here, often as we go into season, we do start to ramp up. And then once we come out of season, we've sold off a lot of that inventory and we don't have as many newer houses coming to the market. So that starts to go down just a bit. And then once we get into the late fall, winter months, sellers start to ramp back up that inventory and start putting their homes on the market. And then it's just a trend that goes on here. And this is what you need to know as a buyer or seller, is we usually get a lot of inventory starting around January, and then the inventory starts to dwindle once we get into the summer months or the fall, just because we don't have as many houses coming on the market. Even though the buyers aren't here, we're just not seeing as much inventory either. Next up is median price point. So May 2025, we actually hit $370,000 median price point. 50% of the homes in Cape Coral sold above this amount, 50% sold below this amount. That's actually lower than we were last month. We were at 375 last month. February, we were at 400,000. And then year over year, we were at 396,000 1 year ago in May 2024. As you can see the chart here, we trend down throughout the summer months. And then we did hit this high note in February, and then we've been trending down. I expect us to continue trending down just a bit. We probably won't see much lower than 370. We might see 360, but we will trend down just a bit more as we go into the summer months and into the fall. So we're going to keep an eye on that and monitor that. Now, as we've talked about before, it was around December 2022, after Hurricane Ian, after interest rates went through the roof, that we actually saw prices stabilize around 400,000 for a median price point. And we've been sticking right there, going above, below, above, below, above, below for the last 2.5 years. So this is where we're at right now, 370,000. We're actually lower than we have been. We're still right around 2021 price points. So we're not back to 2019 by any means, but we have seen them drop just a bit. Next up, we're going to look at days on the market. So May 2025, homes are sitting on the market for 53 days before going under contract. This is the median days on the market. February 2025 was 62 days. And then 1 year ago, May 2024 was 48 days. So just not a lot of fluctuation there. It's been about the same for the last 2.5 years. And we'll probably stay right around that 50 days on the market for the next few months. And then we'll see where that heads once we get into January and February of next year. Closed sales. So actually for May 2025, we had 525 closed sales for the month of May. February 2025, 333 closed sales. So that was a huge jump. And then May 2024, 1 year ago, 571 homes sold. Now, if we compare this year to last year, our numbers certainly were not as strong this year. However, having over 520 sales in a single month here in the city of Cape Coral is no small number. We certainly have a lot of buyers here that are still buying. Now, they're coming in, they're taking advantage of the opportunities, they're finding them where they're at. And if a home is nice, if it's updated, it's new, there's a lot of opportunities here and people are jumping on those, and homes are definitely selling. So we can't say the homes aren't selling, because they certainly are. Over 500 sales here in the city of Cape Coral, single family homes in May 2025. Now, one of the things I wanted to chat about here was our friends from the north, the Canadians. And I've been talking to a lot of Canadians just to try to understand what their thoughts are and what their mindset is due to some political things going on there between the United States and Canada. And it certainly hurt us this year because we didn't see the Canadian buyers coming into the market. They're just uncertain with what's going to happen in the future, and they're not willing to come down and buy like they have in years past. So currently sitting at 525, that's not much different than 571. If you added in probably a large amount of Canadians that we missed out on this year, we actually had a large amount of buyers that would be pretty comparable to last year. The other thing that we have to look at is inventory jumping, and which is a factor because some Canadians are concerned, and so they're putting their homes on the market to try to get out of the market. It's not a lot of them, but that is happening here to be aware of. So if we look here, closed sales, this is how it often goes throughout the year. During February, March, April, May, we see it jump quite a bit. And then once we get into the summer months, it tends to level off. And then our buyers really drop off once we get into the fall. Middle of August through the middle of October is when we see the biggest drop. And a lot of that is because when these closed sales happen, these people put the homes under contract back about 45 days prior to this. So if we see still a healthy number in August, those were put under contract probably back at the end of June or July. And then if we go down here, you're looking at other numbers here that are looking a lot lower. However, a lot of people are not shopping in November, December because of holidays either. We do start to see some snowbirds come down in the fall in order to get their second home. They purchase them so they're ready to go once the snow starts flying up there in the north. Next up, I want to chat about current trends. So the last week of May 1st, or the last week of April, which was May 1st, 2025, new listings was 170 new listings, solds were 117 solds. If we look at the last week of May or the first week of June, we had new listings 150, so they're starting to drop off. And solds 165, that's actually quite a bit bigger. So I'm expecting, since this was the last week of May, I think June's going to come through with some pretty solid numbers as well. Once we do that market report, I think we're going to see a lot of higher buyer numbers. I don't know if we'll get to 500, but I do believe that we're still seeing a lot of homes under contract right now. A lot of buyers still buying and taking advantage of the opportunities. Expireds, 44, and then expireds 162. This means people took their homes off the market. So if they didn't sell it during the season, they were hoping maybe they were overpriced or they were really trying to hit a home run and they weren't able to get the money they were looking for. So they said, we'll just take it off the market and just hold on to it until next year. And then they'll probably go back on the market next January if they're still in the mindset of wanting to sell. So price increase 12, price decrease 363. Trying to get those last minute buyers or trying to attract them by dropping the prices. Same thing here, price increase 12 and then price decrease 399. A lot of people here at the end of season, now that we are officially out of season because we're in June, so season is over, and a lot of those buyers have gone north. They don't like the heat here during the summer months, even though I believe that's one of the best times to be here because it's just absolutely incredible here in Cape Coral. In the summertime, I like the heat. I love being able to go to the beach and just walk right in. The water's perfect. And we do have air conditioning in our cars, our Publix, our Walmarts, our anything and anywhere, our homes. You have air conditioning, so certainly a lot nicer than going out into the frozen tundra of the north in the wintertime. Other key numbers that I want to chat about. So sold price per square foot was $244 a square foot. And we've looked back over the last several months, and $244 seems to be right around where we're at. Even though the overall median price point dropped, this price per square foot did not drop from last month and then several months prior. And what that indicates is that people are coming in and buying smaller homes. So the smaller homes are actually selling, the larger homes are sitting on the market a little longer with that extra square footage. So $244 a square foot, that's where it's been. That's what people paid in the month of May for the median price point. List price received, this surprised me, 98.3%. This is actually a little higher. So of the list price, the sellers are coming off the list price just under 2%, which is pretty good that we're getting actually list price to where the people are actually coming in and buying. As if before, like the last year and a half, 2 years, list price was very high. So people were getting a lot less than what they were listing because they had to have that negotiation. But right now, 98.3%, they're getting really close to that list price of what people are actually paying for the house. Now, with that being said, I put together some pretty incredible deals for some of my buyers here in the last couple of months that has been well below that 98.3%. So if you're in the mindset of, I'm going to wait till the market drops until it crashes, well, right now people are actually getting some really good deals if you find the motivated sellers. And fortunately, I've been able to help some of my clients do that. I've got some pretty good systems in place to be able to work that out and get them some great opportunities. New listings, 744 new homes came to the market here in the city of Cape Coral in the month of May, 744. Now going back to January, we had over 1,100 homes come to the market in January. So as you can see, that number decreases, which is pretty typical this time of year. And then once we get into June, that number will decrease even further. Now, for all you folks out there that say the market is crashing, Cape Coral's falling apart, everything's terrible, absolutely miserable, stay away from Cape Coral. Let's take a look at this number right here. This is months of inventory. 6 months of inventory. So if we didn't have another new home come on the market based on the amount of buyers we had here in May, it would take us 6 months to completely sell out everything. Anywhere between 4 and 6 months is a neutral market. Anywhere over 6 months of inventory is considered a buyer's market. Anything under 4 months is a seller's market. So we were right on the edge of going into a buyer's market again. Now, to be honest with you, we did see this number quite a bit higher at the beginning of season, let's say January, because we were actually over 10 months of inventory because we had so many new homes hit the market in anticipation for our season, and we didn't have the buyers showing up quite yet. But at this exact moment, we only have 6 months of inventory. Now, that'll probably jump up to 7 months or 7.5 over the next few months, just because we don't see as many buyers here in the summertime. However, we won't see as much inventory coming on the market either. But at 6 months of inventory, nothing's crashing, nothing's falling apart. It's a pretty stable market at 6 months of inventory. So pay attention to who you're listening to. These are the actual numbers here in the Cape Coral market. Next up, we want to look at key numbers. These numbers help direct where the market's going, and we really want to keep an eye on this. Now, we know inflation peaked at 9.1% back in June 2022. We're now sitting at 2.4%. We have come down as far as inflation goes over the last several months. Last month, though, we were at 2.3. So we did see it not spike, but we saw it jump just a bit to 2.4%. November 2023, we saw interest rates go over 8%. We're now sitting at 6.87%. Like we keep talking about, our target 6.5%. Realistically, I think our target now is 6%. If we go below 6%, that's when you're going to see the market absolutely take off. That's when you'll see buyers pouring back in, taking advantage of the great interest rates and the great prices. However, if you wait till the market or till the interest rates go below 6%, I guarantee you're going to be paying quite a bit more for those homes than you would right now, because a lot of the buyers are still sitting on the sidelines that want to be here in the beautiful city of Cape Coral. However, there are plenty of buyers here, over 500 last month. Unemployment. So is it currently at 4.2% and staying steady? For the last 2, 3, 4 years, we've been at 4%, right around, just under, just over, just under, just over. It kind of fluctuates, but we certainly have strong unemployment. And as long as that stays healthy, they say that interest rates probably won't drop a lot. So we monitor the unemployment. Obviously, we don't want that to go up, but if it does start to go up, that's going to bring interest rates down. As inflation's been staying down, they say they want to see it under 2%. However, that might be a stretch since we've been hovering right around 2.3, 2.4, 2.5 for the last several months. Next up, supply. Let's chat a little bit about supply. So supply, 3,126 homes available here in the city of Cape Coral. This is single family homes. We have a year-over-year increase of 10.7%. As you know, if you've been following me and been watching my market reports, about a year ago, 2 years ago, we were seeing jumps as much as 30%, 40%. Actually, at 10%, that's a pretty good number. A lot of you have been watching the headlines too, I'm sure, like I have. And other markets such as Denver, Dallas, Omaha, Washington, D.C., Memphis, they've all seen huge jumps in their inventory this year, just in 2025. Huge jumps. We're talking 30, 40, 50%. And what that's an indication of is their markets are starting to become saturated, kind of like what we did about a year and a half ago to a year ago. We're starting to level out now. I believe we're ahead of the trend. I don't think we're going to keep seeing huge numbers. We're not going to jump to 4,000 homes available here in the city of Cape Coral for sale. I think we're just about where we're at. As we go through the summer months and into the fall, this number will start to drop a little bit more and a little bit more. Once we get into next January, that's going to be really a turning point to show us what's happening here in the market, because we are going to see that number jump probably once we get into January if we don't see something else happen between now and then, such as interest rates dropping substantially or something happening globally. But 3,126, we've dropped from over 2,500 at the beginning of the season, snowbird season, and now we're sitting at 3,126, and I believe it's going to hang out there for the next several months until we get back into the early part of 2026. Population currently estimated, this is our demand, so population is currently estimated at 240,000 here in the city of Cape Coral. We do continue to keep growing, often ranked as one of the fastest growing cities here in the state of Florida. In the next 5 years, we're expected to be at over 260,000 residents. And by 2050, just 25 years from now, we're going to have 320,000 people living here, often ranked as one of the fastest growing cities by many different publications. And we keep continuing to grow. So let's jump ahead to is now the time to buy. First up, before we jump into this, I want to talk about the article that came out in the news this week, and it talked about how Cape Coral or Lee County has the biggest supplier, the biggest inventory of ghost homes in the whole country. As far as metro areas, over 500,000 people. And Lee County definitely has over 500,000 people. And so I looked into this a little bit because I thought, well, this is absolutely silly. And I read a little bit about it, and it was just a fluff piece. It was just, the whole idea is to get people excited. And this is how mainstream media can really play a part in how sellers and buyers do things. Because if a seller reads this article, they may panic and think, oh no, the market is falling apart, it's dropping. Or if a buyer reads it, they might think, oh, I really need to wait because I'm going to have some real opportunity down the road, and they may miss out on the real opportunity. But anyways, just to talk about this ghost home article. In the article, they said there were over 125,000 ghost homes here in Lee County. And they implied by some of the videos that they showed, and they did the report in front of some vacant houses that were partially built to show that these are the ghost homes. homes that builders started building and they didn't get finished. Maybe they ran out of funding. Maybe the banks wouldn't give them any more money to complete the project, or for one reason or another, they didn't complete the house. So they were implying that we have over 100,000 of these homes sitting all around Lee County waiting, and the market's just crashing and it's just a terrible place to be. However, the fact of the matter is, you have to figure into that number, we're one of the largest second home markets in the world, or at least the country for that matter. We have thousands and thousands of homes here that sit vacant throughout the summer because the snowbirds, maybe they're from Canada, maybe they're from New York, maybe they're from Montana, Chicago, wherever you're from, have second homes here, and those homes are sitting vacant all summer long. And so they're counting these homes as part of this 125,000, 126,000, whatever it is, plus homes. But the article is written to make you think that these homes are all just homes sitting vacant, that are half built, that the market's falling apart. Now, to be fair and to be honest, if you do drive around the northern part of Cape Coral, you will start to see some houses that are half built, and for different reasons. Maybe the builder ran out of funding, maybe they ran out of money, and so they weren't able to complete the project. So this is happening. It's a very real thing in the northern part of Cape Coral. However, it's not anywhere close. This might be 100 houses, 200 houses at the most, not thousands and thousands and thousands. Another area that we're seeing vacant homes is rentals aren't as good here in Cape Coral right now. So there's a lot of homes for short-term or for long-term rentals that are sitting vacant, which would normally have people in them, just because over the last couple of years, we've had some huge apartment complexes move into the area. Luxury apartments build these huge complexes, probably about 7 or 8 of them throughout the city of Cape Coral. And that's taken a lot of people out of the rent market that normally would have been renting these vacant houses, or from landlords or people, investors, and they're sitting vacant now because they're taking a little bit longer to rent out. They'll get rented out eventually. It's not a concern, but there are more vacant homes now than there have been in years past. But anyways, the article was really a scare tactic, and it's really kind of silly, and it was fun to watch some of the comments on the Cape Coral board here on Facebook. But the reality of it is that we don't have a big issue here. We do have inventory that's a little higher, but the majority of these ghost homes are in fact homes owned by second homeowners. They're beautiful homes, they're well taken care of, and most of them are completely paid off with cash. So we don't have a ghost home problem. We are a second home market. So we do have a lot of second home owners here. So with that being said, is now the time to buy? Again, I say yes, absolutely. Right now, we're at the end of season. You have high inventory, so you do have a ton of options right now to find exactly what it is you're looking for. It's a buyer's market, just barely at the moment, but as we go into the summer, a lot of the sellers that did not sell are willing to negotiate. Sellers willing to negotiate. The ones that need to sell, that are motivated, that really want to just move on with their life, they want to sell, and they're willing to negotiate those prices and get you a better rate or a better option. We're also at the end of season, so if they didn't sell during season, then they may be more willing to negotiate now. And with that being said, I have been seeing, for my buyers, I've been getting them some pretty good deals. So we just have to know where to look and know what to look for, and then you're able to negotiate those prices. So now is an absolutely great time to buy, and it'll be that way for the next few months. So take advantage of that if you are looking to buy. Next up is now the time to sell. And like we've talked about the last couple of months, inventory is so high, and we are moving into the summer months, so it may not be the best time to sell, depending on what your expectations are, or if you don't have to sell. I understand if you've gotten transferred out of the city for your job, or maybe you need to move because of family or other reasons. That makes sense, and it might be time, you need to put your house on the market. And houses are definitely selling. You just have to set your expectations correctly. The home needs to be marketed perfectly. It really has to be a strategy in place in order to sell your home. The realtor that helps you out needs to understand the current market in your neighborhood and understand what other houses are selling for and have sold for, in order to position you and your home as the best option, so it doesn't sit on the market forever like so many homes have been right now. So you really have to know, why do you want to sell? What's your reason behind it? If you just want to test the market, now might not be a great time. Again, if you need to go because you're moving out of town, or maybe we do see a lot of homes here in the Cape Coral area sold by folks that are getting a little older and they need to move back north again too. And we help a lot of folks that way with homes that need to be sold down here if they're moving north. So what are homes selling, or what homes are selling? Really the homes that are selling right now, the ones that are moving off the market rather quickly, are the homes that have been updated. We have a lot of new construction right now, and it continues to help our inventory as far as the new construction goes. So some of those prices for new construction homes are pretty comparable to some of the resale homes. So if you don't want to be in a certain area, but you really want a new home, you can get a pretty good deal right now. So those are the homes that we're seeing go off the market as well. Homes that are not in flood zones, homes that have easy access to open water, just really unique things that are happening. The homes that are sitting on the market the longest right now are homes that are outdated. Now, if your home was built like in the 90s or the 80s or even the early 2000s and you've not done much to it, then those homes are sitting on the market a little longer, or they have to be priced accordingly for the buyers to come in and buy those, understanding they're going to have to fix up or do some remodeling. And again, strategic selling. You'd really have to partner with someone like myself who knows how to strategically sell, how to use the internet, how to use social media, to YouTube. AI is a big thing right now too that's really helping us get homes sold. So you definitely want to be aware of that and partner with someone who understands the logistics of how it's going to work to get your home sold. All right. That concludes this market update for June 2025. Hope you found this information useful. Go ahead and hit that subscribe and like button if it helped you out. If you do like to talk or want to chat more about how I can help you buy or sell, invest, relocate here in the city of Cape Coral, I'd love to chat with you. Go ahead and click the link in the description. We can book a Zoom call if you are out of the area. I love to help out-of-town buyers and sellers achieve the goals that they're looking to achieve. So go ahead and hit that link. You're welcome to call, text anytime, and I will be happy to assist you. Making realty dreams a reality here in the city of Cape Coral.